time under tension.
Oh, time! Yeah, I love time under tension.
Yes.
Like, time under tension is a game changer.
Yeah.
And in this context,
Yep.
so with primal movement patterns,
Yep.
and with EMS, it's such a great marriage.
Yep.
Because doing things slow, just makes things make more sense, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So when you're doing that time under tension, your muscles can't just go through momentum.
Yep.
Yeah. It makes you focus on the things we've talked about before with technique.
Yeah.
It makes you realize, oh, my knees feel unstable, or wow, I can't really control my pelvis and stuff. It definitely helps you to appreciate where your weaknesses are.
Yep.
Now, for me, like, without using a better word than weakness, for me, that's gold.
Yep.
Like, I've just discovered where I'm weak.
Yep.
And for me, it's like, okay, I'm going to do stuff
Yep.
to make that strong.
Yep.
So that, ideally that improves my ability for so many things.
100%. I mean, when I think of time under tension as well, I think that, we are working the muscle even more, because sometimes momentum can take you through the movement and you're not really engaging the muscle. Whereas time under tension, it allows you to really engage the muscle, obviously, which will benefit in terms of strength and also in terms of calories burned and everything. The other thing is also it allows you to make these micro adjustments during the movement to make sure you get the technique right as well, right? So it allows you to focus on how do I do this rather than just like for the sake of doing it, So I think that's why it's important.
Yeah, it's interesting because, like, I see time under tension also as like you just touched on it there. Like, it's not just a time under tension; it's a time where you're thinking.
Yes.
Because it's very easy to come into a session and just move weights. Or put yourself through an activity without needing to think about it. And I think that's not where we need to go. And the good thing about, say, your EMS is you're going to get some external stimuli as well, which just reminds you to think about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're going to feel it.
Yeah.
So you're thinking, you're putting tension on, you're getting more benefit out of it. And another thing which I'd like to touch on with time under tension is it's also a way to make an activity harder that doesn't increase your cardiovascular output. So your heart rate doesn't go up. Now that's important because that means it's going to be less pressure on your organs. But at the same time, with EMS, you're also getting that extra demand on your muscles, which is making you burn more energy in them.
Yes.
And without actually elevating your heart rate up too much, you're definitely consuming a lot more energy.
Yeah, which is a really good thing because when you do a really high cardiovascular activity, your stress level goes up. And you don't want to stress the body too much because then it makes everything out of whack, and even your weight loss is impacted by if you increase your stress level. So what you just touched on there is like if we can elevate that burning of energy without stressing the body too much, that's like the goal there, isn't it?
Absolutely. So if we can keep cortisol levels down, then we can actually get some real major improvement. It's interesting. Like it really comes down to sometimes you just got to slow it down.
Yes.
Sometimes you simply got to simplify.
Exactly.
And we can get better results.
And now just to touch on how do we do that, obviously with everything, with all the movements, we always coach you in terms of like slow it down and all that, but you can simply just, have a bit of a countdown in your head when you go through the movement to just count yourself down, 3, 2, 1, and just focus on where you're going from where to where kind of thing. Any other tips you get for, how to slow it down?
Like, so you look at your normal tempo, so your normal rate. So like, let's just say you're just pulling up and down like that. So a lot of tips I give people is like, okay, I want you to do that. Just double the amount of time it takes you to do it. So instead of it taking you 1, you're going to go 1, 2, 1, 2. That changes things quite a bit. Once they understand that concept, it's slow it down again. So just make it take twice as long again.
Or even pause at certain points.
Definitely.
You either pause at the top or at the bottom of the movement.
Or halfway through the movement.
Yeah.
There's just so many ways you can apply time under tension with good technique.
Yeah, that's it.
So it's really hard to to perform an exercise with time and attention with poor technique. Because poor technique is typically a result of momentum.
Yes.
And without momentum engaged,
then we're going to do it right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
One.
Very good. And obviously, we're always going to be there to remind you to slow it down.
Yeah.
That's it.